Is Bitcoin ready for a new all-time high this week? When we look at the current Bitcoin chart, we can see that we have a beautiful range with range pivot number 1, range pivot number 2, and range pivot number 3, giving us a high probability range. Over here, we can see that we saw a few sweeps below the range low. Eventually, we got a beautiful push in towards liquidity. The liquidity was being generated by constantly putting in these wicks to the downside. Over here, there was liquidity resting right there and liquidity resting right there. The price pushed beneath the range. Now we know that after a push beneath the range, 99 out of 100 people are looking to short a potential breakdown, or they're looking to long a potential breakout. What we are always trying to do is to trade a potential deviation. And what we have been seeing over here, guys, is that we have been deviating below the range low and that we have been reclaiming the range low over here, opening and closing multiple candles above that range low level over here. More importantly though, when we go to the 1 hourly time frame, we can see that after that first breakdown out of the range, we got a perfect retest of the range low. That was already the first reason for me to start doubting this potential breakdown, because as I have taught you guys, if price is truly bullish after a breakout, it usually doesn't offer perfect bullish retests. If price is truly bearish after a breakdown, it usually doesn't offer perfect bearish retest of the range low level. Now we saw a perfect bearish retest, eventually we form a lower low. Now over here, if price is truly bearish, guys, it should never offer a retest like this over here, okay? It should consolidate and expand lower if price is truly bearish. So when we saw this retest, I was already anticipating at least a sweep of this high, and eventually we got our beloved break of structure to the upside over here. So price has deviated below the range low, it has reclaimed the range low in confluence with a shift of structure to the upside on the 4 hourly and 1 hourly time frame. A beautiful reclaim in which we know that after a deviation of the range low, technically speaking, you should be visiting the mid-range liquidity pool over here, and technically speaking, you should be visiting the range high liquidity pool over here around $74,000 according to our trading system. So that means that we have ourselves a trigger to look for a long, we have ourselves a target to take profit for our long position. Now all that we need to do is to look for a potential execution of our long trade with as a target the mid-range and the range high. Now over here, what we can see on the lower time frame, when we want to look at a potential execution for Bitcoin, is that we have been building up quite the liquidity over here and quite the liquidity over here. I believe we have some CME gap right beneath these two lows over here as well. Why is the liquidity resting over here? Because over here we see a fake break of structure, and also over here, guys, we see a fake break of structure. People are longing the price because of these fake break of structures, and they are using a tight stop loss beneath this low and beneath this low, engineering a beautiful liquidity pool. Now, as I've taught you guys once again, we only enter where other traders are getting stopped out of their trade, which means that if the price is not going to take out these two lows over here, I'm never ever going to be interested in a potential long position. Now, when we look at the 4 hourly time frame, we can see that over here is where we have this breaker block aligning right now with the price, okay? And this breaker block, as far as we can see, is aligning with, indeed, the range low level. That is definitely a level where I'm interested in potential swing longs, not only for Bitcoin, but guys, our focus should mainly be on trading altcoins. So what I'm looking for on Bitcoin is that I'm hoping to get an early week pullback in towards this range low and target the mid-range and eventually the range high from there. This is obviously an ideal scenario. This is also the scenario where we are going to front run that range low. Or there's also the scenario that the people that long the range low and use a tight stop loss, which is something that we should never ever do, they're going to put their stop beneath the low over here. So there's also the scenario that we are going to see a bit of a bounce from here, take out these stops, reclaim and send it to the range high. That's a scenario definitely as well. So we shouldn't rule any scenario out of the question, but in my opinion, if price over here on Bitcoin is truly bullish, it's not going to take out this local low anymore, and the bottom is in around $56,000 and $5. Well, now let's move on to Ethereum, because that one is looking even more interesting. What we are looking at over here on Ethereum is a beautiful falling wedge. When we look at the volume, which is key for a valid falling wedge, is that we can see that the volume while the wedge is being formed is dropping lower and lower and lower over here. And that is exactly what we want to see when we want to look at a valid falling wedge. So definitely a high probability falling wedge being developed over here on the Ethereum price. Now what I've taught you guys is that we shouldn't trade breakout. What we rather want to do is anticipate potential breakout. Now to look for a potential long trigger, what we can see over here is that also Ethereum has been trading in a range over here. Okay, in which we have seen multiple deviations, and the first deviation over here led to a second bigger deviation, which eventually took the low of the first deviation over here. Now we know that the double range low deviation is definitely a high probability trigger to start finding and seeking the liquidity around the mid-range, and eventually also for Ethereum around the range high, which is around $4,085. Alright, so when we target the mid-range and we target the range high and we have ourselves a trigger, why do we have ourselves a trigger? Because the first deviation is being followed up by a second bigger deviation, and that second bigger deviation took out a major sell-side liquidity pool. Okay, there was major liquidity resting right there, in which on a 1 hourly time frame the local trend shifted to the upside right over here. Now I've known for a few weeks now that Ethereum is probably ready to outperform Bitcoin. I made a video on this, I believe on Friday or otherwise on Thursday, and Ethereum is ready to outperform Bitcoin. Now when we anticipate that, we know that if Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin, that also automatically means that altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. So my advice, and it's no financial advice obviously to you, is that after watching this video, if you're also bullish on the market in general, you should mainly focus on trading Ethereum, and you should mainly focus on trading altcoins. Because I believe that if the bottom is in right here, the gains are to be made right there on Ethereum and on altcoin. So over here, when we look at the potential execution for Ethereum, what can we see? Once again, we see a few big break structures. Now we can see that there will be liquidity resting right here. Okay, now we can see that we are taking out buy-side liquidity right now. What I would prefer for Ethereum as well is similar scenarios for Bitcoin. I would like to see a bit of a flash dump somewhere along the line early in this week. When we get a bit of a flash dump, where will the price test? It will test the range low. Okay, now this is definitely an area where I'm looking for longs on Ethereum. Okay, so the plan is clear. Look for longs on Bitcoin, look for longs on Ethereum, but especially guys, look for longs on altcoin. Where should your invalidation be? Your invalidation is pretty simple. Our invalidation for a bullish thesis is the local low that we formed over here. I think if price is bullish, not going to take out that low anymore. If it's once again going to take out that low, I believe that we are going to see lower price. But for now, we've seen a deviation of the range low on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've seen break of structures back towards the upside alongside a reclaim of the range low levels. Okay. We can see that Ethereum versus Bitcoin is outperforming. We can see that Bitcoin dominance is topping out. Okay, we have taken out major sales and liquidity, and we have beautiful liquidity pools around the mid-range and around the range high. So I am bullish on the market in general. I am mainly bullish on Ethereum and on altcoin, and I'll be looking to add more long to my current very profitable near long over here, which we can see that the one is close to the first take profit target. And also I am very bullish and hopeful for more take profits on my other long position, which is our Fed long, which is also running quite nice, reclaiming the range low and potentially expanding towards a mid-range and range high area. Now personally, I'm looking to add more long positions either today or tomorrow if we get a pretty nice pullback on Bitcoin, Ethereum and altcoins. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy today's YouTube video, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'll catch you guys on Wednesday's video. Ciao, ciao.